Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Punk Rock Player One channel. And today we have a new Smashing Pumpkins album to review. And I'm probably going to butcher this name, but it is Aghori Mhori May. I heard Billy Corgan say it one time, so I'm pretty sure I got it right. And their most recent album before this was Atom, and that was a huge concept double album kind of thing. And it very much had a lot of synth action going on and a lot of Smashing Pumpkins adore kind of style. But the band, which is Billy Corgan, Jimmy Chamberlin, and I think James Iha is his name, the guitarist. I believe he's the lead guitarist. It's probably like double lead guitarist for this band. Like Smashing Pumpkins, both of them could play lead guitar easily, but they claim, and I agree with this, that they have been in tune with each other since this band has had a kind of a turnover rate history in the past with their female bassist in the past and several other lineup changes during the early mid to late 90s and then early 2000s and early 2010s. So a lot of turnover, but the original band members are back, and well, most of them, and they feel like they have been on point with each other, in tune since Shiny and Oh So Bright Volume 1 and Atom and this album. And I heard a little bit of Billy Corgan and Jimmy Chamberlin on Instagram Live. I don't know how I caught the Instagram Live, but I did. And they were just talking about the album and what they think about the sound of it. And they described this as a return to form, as like a rock band kind of sound. And Billy Corgan kind of explained it where it's hard to capture the emotion that he had with Siamese Dream and the sound that came from that album and Gish. And he was not really trying to replicate that, but take that sound into today. Maybe not with the same emotion behind it, because you can't really recreate that since they were kids during that time and they had like huge record label pressures and stuff like that. But that was just to give you guys a little backdrop of the context of this album. So hearing that context, it sounded like good news for us fans. And the first song is definitely brings you right back to like classic Smashing Pumpkins with like a nice swaying opening riff, and a very full band sound that is tight as well. I mean, obviously these are great musicians. And I liked how the guitar in this song was mimicking Billy's voice in the verse, kind of like exactly like Siamese Dream. And there was a cool intro of synth for a second, and then rock sound of this album just, basically brings it back home to classic Gish sound. And there were 3 solos in this song and a little drum solo in there as well. And the song, this particular song, Eden, just gets wilder and wilder as the song goes on. And this ended up in my top 5. A lot of these are going to end up. So this will be another album where I have like a top 9 or something crazy like that. The next song, Pentagrams. So they still are able to reach that rock sound, but still have synths and electronic music and stuff like that. Because Smashing Pumpkins by this time has used a ton of other stuff just besides the rock band sounds and instruments. But this song has like a synth piano sounding guitar intro, and it's probably an effect on Billy's guitar, but it makes it sound like a piano or a synth kind of. And there's very much I very much like the focus of guitars so far in the album. and there's like a really good focus on the guitars, in particular on pentagrams and the verses, and just how good they sound and how rich they sound. And the slow part is cool as well in the song, and there's a cool bridge with some kick sound, sick sounding riffs. And honestly, in my opinion, they haven't sounded this good since Machina 1 and Zeitgeist. And I just basically discovered Zeitgeist a couple years ago, but Zeitgeist is good. I think I've basically, the consensus for that album is he figured that fans didn't like it at the time. But Zeitgeist is very much a classic Smashing Pumpkins rock album. But anyway, this feels like that to me. Like, this album could easily have songs that sounded like they were on Machina 1 or Machina 2 or Zeitgeist. And so that's basically all you need to know. Like, that's a true return to form if they sound like what they sounded like 20 years ago. There's epic solos throughout Pentagram Song. And yeah, this song just has kind of like an epic kind of feel. And I also like that Billy's voice is in focus too, because I do like the lady that they have. I think she might be on a couple of these songs. She's a very talented singer that does the backing vocals. But in my opinion, I definitely think she adds something. But for me, when I'm listening to a Smashing Pumpkins song, I would rather just hear Billy Corgan's voice singing and his backing tracks. But I mean, if you want to give a full song to her, I'm okay with that too. I'm like either or. Like Smashing Pumpkins, I know it. It's either got to be all Billy's voice or all that lady's voice. I don't remember her name, but she is a very talented singer. But I kind of don't like the mixing because it's very hard to distinguish. Is it her singing or is it Billy singing? Like in the Adam album. But that just shows how close her voice is to his. And they do sound great together. But it kind of confuses me as a listener. Shigomi, I very much like the song, but I think these are the backing tracks that she has. In my opinion, Billy Corgan's voice is enough. Like, that's why you listen to Smashing Pumpkins, to hear his unique voice. And this song in particular, Shigomi, is very much like Gish in its structure and style, and has a very cool outro as well. And this song also ended up in my top 5. And the next song, Pentecost, has a piano and drum intro, and it also has synths in it too. And a cool guitar intro and bass guitar also sounds great. The song also has violins, and Pentecost kind of slows things down. It's like the chillest song so far of the album. And yeah, it's an interesting song structure. It's very different from the other first three. War Dreams of Itself is the like the heavy rocker. It's a really fast intro into like basically like thump rock, and it sounded really good. I'm glad. Yeah, I put that I'm glad that this is just a pure rock song and there's just no breaks and riffs. I mean, there's just riffs for days. So this song also ended up in my top 5 or top 10 or 11 or 12. Next song, Who Goes There, is a synth and guitar kind of melded beginning, and it's actually a very cool love song. The Billy's voice sounds great on the song in particular, and it's a chill song, but it's still nice to hear that full band sound. And I also would recommend this song very much. I think there's another song I say this for later, but I really like the lyrics of Who Goes There. I think it's some of the strongest lyrics on the album. 999 is starts with a piano intro, then has like very nice chunky grunge guitars, and a really beefy drums as well. And the guitars come in at the right time at the bridge. And when the bridge hits, there's cool synths, and then that chunky guitar solo comes back, and it speeds up the tempo, just like Eden speeded up towards the end of the song. So does 999. And yeah, 999 definitely has, in my opinion, the best drumming on the album so far. Go With the Fall is acoustic, electric kind of sounding, very much reminiscent of their huge hit 1975. And oh, okay, so this is the song. So this is the other song that has very good lyrics. Uh, so Who Goes There and Go With the Fall, probably best lyrics on the album besides Sigami and Eden. They're just hitting hard. I saw the summary for this album, and it's like, oh, it's a very lean offering from Smashing Pumpkins, only 10 songs. But I think that really works in this album's favor. It can just focus on its strengths and not be meandering anywhere with filler tracks. Like each song so far has different things to offer, and it keeps it interesting, and there's not too much, and you don't get lost in it. Sycorax is very heavy at the start, and this is the most like metal riff heavy song, metal tinged, and there's cool changes in the bridge, and there's really nice vocal effects for Billy's voice. And the song easily also ends up in my top songs for the album. Murnau, if I'm pronouncing that right, has very soft vocals and piano, and it has some more synths. This is the very much the self-indulgent synth song of the album. And yeah, the full band joins in halfway through the song with drums, bass, and guitars. And it's a pretty interesting song, but I like the rock stuff better on here. But it's a very pleasant sounding song. So if I heard this, I probably wouldn't skip it just because of how unique and pleasant it sounds. So, given all of those songs, I would give this album a 9 out of 10. It is an amazing return to form for Smashing Pumpkins, back to rock and roll, and I love to see it. Let me know what you guys think of this album, and what do you think of the Smashing Pumpkins as of late. And I will catch you guys later. Have a good one.